Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City Council meeting. This is a special call council meeting of the Rockport City Council held on Wednesday, December the 13th, 2023 at 6:30. It is 6:30. Welcome to the meeting. If you would stand, join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I have two folks that want to be heard on items not on the agenda. And I have some forms that were filled out by people that sent in, would like to have their forms read. And we will do those as we come to the item on the agenda. But for those that wanted to speak on items not on the agenda, I have Christy Rutledge.
Mayor, City Council, Christy Rutledge, 1411 Dana Drive. First thing that I want to say is I recognize that the way this petition was handled is a lot different than what happened with the City Hall petition. And I just want to thank you all. Okay, so last night went really smooth. All of the citizens were heard. And I think you responded in a certain way. It wasn't perfect, but I think that we can learn from each other. And I think that city government is a lot better. I think the state government, I think the national government is a lot better when citizens are involved. And we can improve. So I look forward to the improvements that will come from this experience that we've had together. And I think that when citizens get involved, help the government see things, and our elected representatives respond, we're all better for it. Regarding short-term rental, you did the right thing by postponing that. There's some information, I think, that really isn't understood yet. The definition of accessory, what is that? Is that an old definition that's in the ordinance? If we're basing our STR policy that was proposed last night on old ordinances, it refers to mother-in-law suites, which really, people don't have those anymore. It refers to servants' quarters. I know they don't have those anymore. So I think we may need to look at our ordinances. Don't be afraid to put that STR ordinance off even longer, the second reading, because you want to get this right. People have come here in the last several years to change their life after COVID, to live their own way, and some of that is based on their income from STRs. There's been some assumptions made at the county appraisal district that our properties can all be marketed as short-term rentals. And now, if you start enforcing this with code enforcement and rules and regulations, you're cutting back your business-friendly climate for your main business, which is tourism. So be really careful and don't be afraid to take your time on this and make sure it's well understood. It suits the people who have already invested here. If there's going to be two categories for residential properties, those with accessories and those without, then we need to be taxed differently according to the appraisal district. And right now we're all caught up in mass appraisals as if we could all be STRs. So thank you.
Evening, Patrick Kane, 1123 East Cedar Street, Rockport. Thank you for extending the deadlines for appeals at last night's meeting. This was important as the appeal process is to deal with a suspension or revocation of a short-term rental permit, not some of the minor issues that were discussed last night. This could easily impact someone's livelihood or their ability to pay their mortgage, so the deadline extension is appreciated. I appreciate the city manager making clear the city's intent on occupancy, which which is to control the number of people staying overnight and not to control the number of daytime visitors. Unfortunately, this isn't what the ordinance states, as the definition of occupants at the beginning of the ordinance clearly includes daytime visitors. This is an easy fix and is needed to meet intent. How do I get the city to take action on the disconnect pointed last night by Councilman Brundrett with respect to accessory dwellings being rented despite section 118.22 of the city's code disallowing rentals? I was told by Amanda Torres in 2019, before I bought my property, that accessory units ordinance was not enforced, had never been enforced, and would not be enforced. Today's word of the day is desuetude. In law, it is a doctrine that causes statutes, similar legislation, or legal principles to lapse and become unenforceable by a long habit of non-enforcement or lapse of time. As Brad knows, there have always been these type of rentals in Old Rockport, and I first raised the issue with him in December 2012. This needs to be addressed across the board instead of requiring individual property owners to go to P&Z for relief. It is important for this to be resolved before the city starts denying short-term rental permits. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item number 3, deliberate and act on second and final reading of an ordinance granting to AEP Texas Inc. its successors and assigns to non-exclusive franchise to construct, maintain, and operate lines and appliances for conducting electricity in, over, under, and through the streets, alleys, avenues, and public places of the city of Rockport, Texas.
Move to approve item 3 as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion second. Any question or concern? Not, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. It's unanimous. It passes. Item number 4, deliberate and act on second and final reading of an ordinance amending City of Rockport Code of Ordinances, Chapter 102, Utilities, Article 4, Surcharge Revenue Account, Section 102.404, Penalties relating to consequences and opting out, repealing all prior ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date. There been any?
Just one thing on that. Can we come back at like 6 months or something and just see our difference in, you know, what the revenue is versus, and then that 2% versus 5% that we held back? Just a brief update on it.
No other changes. I have a motion approved. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion second. Any further question? Call for vote. Ward 1? I'm sorry. Okay. Again, Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. It's unanimous. Passes. Item number 5, postponed from November 14th, 2023. Deliberate and act on second and final reading of an ordinance amending City of Rockport Code of Ordinances, Chapter 102, Utilities, Article 4, Surcharge Revenue Account, by amending Section 102.401, Surcharge, to increase surcharge fee, repealing all ordinances in conflict therewith, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Hi, good evening. Again, yeah, we're just revisiting this. This was where we were going to, the second reading, this is where we're going to increase the utility bill surcharge from $1.35 to $2 per connection. The effective date, of course, since we've delayed this, the effective date then would, or the bill, they wouldn't be reflected until the February bill. That'd be the first time that we'd see this. Again, what we're doing is asking for approval to increase that fire fund surcharge to $2.
Yeah. I have one citizen, Chrissy Rutledge, who would like to address item number 5.
Number 5 as read.
I have a motion to have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Further question?
I did just have a quick question.
Sure.
Is there a required notice on this that has to go out for this particular one? Okay. Just putting it out there, making sure we're good.
It's a good question, it's a good question.
Great question.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Do I have any other questions or concerns? Not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye, it's unanimous. Item number 6, deliberate and act on ordinance partially repealing ordinance number 1909 regarding water rates for ratepayers located out of the city, providing for refunds, providing for the validity of said ordinance, repealing all prior ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date. I have 4 folks that want to address items, this one or others related. Also, for your information, items number 7, 9, and 10 have been removed from the agenda. I've got 3 of these, 4 that I need to read, or 3 that I need to read, and we'll get to y'all. First of all, I have Kathy Kane, 109 Boardwalk Avenue. Says, I'm not able to attend tonight's meeting since Mom and I are attending Candlelight Advent service. I want to thank the council for their actions last night. The 900-plus Aransas County residents who signed our petition were heard as evidenced by your decision to not increase the water and wastewater rates to your out-of-city customers. I'm encouraged you have agreed to pursue a full rate study for this enterprise fund. This is something you should consider for all city-provided utilities. Starting with water fund is the right first step. I'm asking you to spend the time to truly understand the administrative costs and how to allocate across all non-general fund budgets. Your goal should be to charge a justifiable rate across the entire customer base. This should be standard operating practice. You're looking for this process. I encourage you to consider a customer-based board that is representative of your customers, residential and business, and in-city and out-of-city. This board should serve as a recommending board to the council as you review capital improvement projects and set rates. Setting up a board based on the enterprise customers will provide you with a balanced perspective. Again, thank you for your listening to the 900 signatures on the petition. Mary Claire Kane, 38 Primrose Circle. This is a thank you to the mayor and council members who reached a compromise with the water rate issue at last night's meeting. We were out-of-city customers are glad you listened to several of the 900 petition signers and who spoke their concerns about the huge increase. Hopefully your meeting tonight will be much shorter than last night's meeting. I was exhausted. I didn't even stay till the very end, which I heard was about 11 p.m. Thank you again. Have a Merry Christmas, Mary Claire Kane. Leonard H. Sims, 48 Primrose Circle. We all understand that costs may require increases for government services. However, with Rockport being the sole provider of public water in the county, any rate increases should be applied equitably for all customers. We urge the council to vote no on the proposed rate increases and urge the city to develop a more equitable solution for all citizens. Ms. Rutledge.
This agenda item, Christy Rutledge, 1411 Dana Drive. This agenda item repeals the rates that were passed in September, specifically the surcharges. But you're going to do a rate study, at least you said you would. If you can incorporate that into your final motion on the second reading, that's an expectation of the council, that would be appreciated. The rate study is absolutely necessary to ensure that you don't end up with another petition, because you still have a 33% surcharge to your out-of-city customers, and regardless of the surcharge or the not surcharge, your administrative fees need to be justified by your rate study all the way across the board. So your non-departmental for water and wastewater, and also for gas. Those really need a strong look, and it's just, like I said last night, the next right thing to do. This gives you time. This gives you several months to straighten out whatever hasn't been justified in the past. And so I think that's great. So I want to encourage you to take this opportunity to do that. And I'm sure you'll be looking at what it actually costs regarding capital improvements. Most of the capital improvements have to do with new developments coming on, so you may need another study, not related to this agenda item, but to make sure that residents, ratepayers aren't paying for new developments and expansion on those. So I realize it's complicated, but I think you have the grace now because of your good action, because of the petition, to make this a focus, and I think it's going to make the budget better. So I just look forward to 2024 being better because we all work together on this situation. So if you can, incorporate the rate study in your agenda second on this or whatever it is tonight, that would be great. That would give us a little peace of mind. But other than that, thank you, and y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Andrew Kane?
I gotta get my phone.
Andrew Kane, 2106 Lakeview Drive. Mayor, last night you ended the meeting with a lot of positive words. Yeah, clock's starting. Okay, a lot of positive words, appreciate it. You know, felt heartfelt. You said you appreciate when the citizens come and speak. So I do want to thank y'all for that. I also want to thank you for, we've come a long ways in the last year, but all these meetings I've been coming to, you're making sure even if somebody hasn't signed up to speak and they want to speak, they get that opportunity. And I think some of the citizens appreciate, because especially if it's their first meeting, they may not know about that card. So I appreciate that. I'm not going to say thank you for what y'all did last night, although what y'all did last night was the best thing to do for yourself, the city, and the out-of-rate city ratepayers. I wanted to go to the PUC. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you, but I wanted to let it play out. But it was a wise decision, and I'm tired of the battle anyway. That said, I want to go through a couple frustrating parts. The whole way through this process, you know, y'all got to sometimes, hey, maybe that citizen knows what he's talking about. You know, maybe they've looked some stuff up. Maybe they have some value to help educate you. Because to me, it sounds like y'all discredit some of the citizens just because they're citizens. But then you take the city staff's words as rule. And how many times have we asked for months, please give us the data which supports it? And we were told over and over and over that the Nugent study did it. And we all know good and well the Nugent study didn't do anything. It didn't talk about how much it costs extra to do something. And then we were saying, why do we, and how many times did we ask the question, and y'all asked the question, why do we charge more? And the answer is always, repetitively, because they don't pay city taxes outside. And that's a false answer. If anyone still believes that's a reason, then it's a reason because y'all aren't doing your job. City taxes, my city taxes in Rockport needed to pay zero support of that utility fund. That's the way it's supposed to be. And if there is any funds being pulled from the property taxes or general fund to support the utility, you got to fix it. So the basic question is why, it would never answered properly by staff. It's frustrating. And then even after months and months of this, just in the last meeting in November, the city manager sat there with a prepared statement and said, quote, no supplies, training, computers, legal, counsel, or anything of the sort is transferred. That's why we have to do this, guys. And y'all go, yeah, yep, she's right. And that's all false. It's false. $9,400 for office supplies, $40,600 for travel expenses, $29,100 for computer skills supplies, $7,500 for legal services, $16,000 for communication services, $13,000. Those are all the utility fund. And that was a prepared statement. And you give them, they ask questions, you give them a complete factual wrong statement to why we charge more, and it's wrong. And they're basing their decisions on bad information. Y'all just got to stop that. Trust but verify. The staff works for you. I would not continue to put up with bad responses. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Patrick Kane.
Patrick Kane, 1123 East Cedar Street, Rockport. Thank you for your actions last night to repeal the September rate increase and to demand that a legitimate rate study be completed before setting new rates for the out-of-city ratepayers. Your actions are an important step forward in ensuring just and reasonable rates are set There's a lot of animosity toward the city, given what's happened over the last 4 months. Let's put that behind us by moving forward in an open, honest, and transparent manner. As my mom said, thank you, Merry Christmas. I'll leave it at that.
Council, you have any other questions regarding, there's been no change since last night? Thank you.
Do we need, as Mr. Rutledge asked, does that need to be in the motion?
It's a direction.
There's gonna come back, we all know, approve the contract.
A contract for,
And just for clarification, how long did you say it would take before a contract could be presented to us?
I'm gonna put out a couple of RFPs, and I just have to see who can do it. It's not gonna be on me. Nobody's gonna do anything for December, so
Yeah, of course.
I'll start on January. I think that there's a couple of companies that will probably jump on it, Nugent being one, because they have our basic information down on it, so. January, February, I don't think it's gonna be a long process.
I move to approve item 5.
I'll second.
It's what?
I'm sorry, 6. I'd like to amend my motion. I'm sorry. I need to approve item 6 as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further question? Not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Item number 7, deliberate and act, wait, not that one. 8. Item number 8, deliberate and act on ordinance partially repealing ordinance number 1910 regarding wastewater rates for ratepayers located out of the city, providing for refunds, providing for the validity of said ordinance, repealing all prior ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for an effective date. Been no changes since last night. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve agenda item number 8 as read.
Motion, do I have a second?
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further question? We'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Sorry.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. It's unanimous. Any other action needed for tonight?
Motion adjourned.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? I have a motion second. It is 6:53. We're adjourned.